It's fall. It's pumpkin season. It's apple season. It's pumpkin spice season. And it's a season where we're starting to look for cozy dishes to keep us warm as the winter slowly begins to set in. So these are my top 5 dishes for fall that I think everybody should be trying from around the world.
Ciao Beryl, my name is Salvatore. I live in London, but I was born and raised in Tuscany, where I spent most of my life. I would like to introduce you to mozzarella in carrozza, which translates to mozzarella in a carriage, and it's a beloved Italian fried cheese sandwich. This dish is made with slices of bread filled with, you guessed it, mozzarella cheese. Tradition calls for sourdough bread, but you can find more modern versions with sandwich bread. My mom sometimes added slices of prosciutto cotto to the sandwiches for extra flavor. Then they are dipped in beaten eggs and finally fried until golden brown. I love this dish because it's simple, yet indulgent and nostalgic. It's part of my childhood, a bridge back to my origins, and it was a dinner meal that my mom used to cook to make everyone happy, even though it's more of an antipasti. Either case, it's a wonderful feast of textures and flavors in your mouth. When you fry it, you get this crispy of the outside, but the inside of the bread stays soft and airy, and locks in all the goodness of the mozzarella, making it melt in your mouth. The egg coating binds everything together, giving it a slight richness to each bite without overpowering the other ingredients.
I like this so far because it feels like a savory French toast, because I'm gonna put pepper and Parmesan cheese in this. I think it's gonna be nice. And you know, I could put prosciutto in it like Salvatore said, but I'm gonna keep it vegetarian and just use mozzarella cheese. Yum.
Mozzarella cheese is perfect because it has a delicate flavor and melts beautifully. It creates that signature cheese pull and provides a creamy counterpoint to the crispy bread and savory ham.
I'm not sure how much. Like a little cheese crust. It's probably enough. When I added the cheese, the egg got really thick, and so I'm adding just a little bit of egg white to thin it out because it was too thick, double C, thick.
Mozzarella in carrozza is a classic Italian dish, typical from the region of Campania, where my family is from.
That looks better.
It's part of the cucina povera, poor cuisine, and it was a way to use up leftover mozzarella in stale bread. Instead of wasting food, these simple ingredients were transformed into something delicious. For me, it's more than a recipe. It's a reminder of how resourcefulness and love for good food define Italian cuisine.
Ooh, yum, that looks good.
Everybody should try this recipe because it is so comforting and irresistible. It's a taste of Italian simplicity and heart. Buon appetito!
Mozzarella grilled cheese sandwich with a little egg coating? Heck yeah. That sounds delicious. Like a French toast, only better. Okay. Got that cheese pull for everybody on the internet who wanted it. Yum. The egg coating on this is delicious. That little bit of Parmesan cheese mixed with the mozzarella cheese gives that little bit of bite, and the pepper does as well, because you know, mozzarella cheese is a little bit soft in flavor. It's not packed full of it, but a good mozzarella cheese definitely has flavor. This one's a good one. Leia, help me.
I can't. There's nothing I can do.
What is... All right, the cheese pull is rocking here. I was a little bit nervous I wasn't gonna get one, but like I sure got one. Because you know, the internet loves cheese pulls. The key is you can't bite the whole way through. You gotta kind of do like a half bite and then start the tug. I learned that on TikTok. I think one of the keys to making this sandwich is to use a fresh mozzarella cheese, a really soft one, even one that comes in water and you squeeze the water out of it. Don't use one of the dry ones. Like in America, we have Polio mozzarella cheese. Don't use that one. Use the fresh one. It's interesting because I've had mozzarella and carrozza before on my What Do Italians Eat episode, which I will link in the description, but it was totally different. And Salvatore told me that this is going to be totally different. This is a bit more of the authentic version that I'm having. If you have mozzarella cheese and an egg at home, this is fabulous. It's simple, but it is delicious. The pairing of the mozzarella cheese with that egg-coated bread, I love it.
Hi Beryl, my name is Delani and I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and the name of the dish that I'm introducing today is smothered cabbage. This dish is a smothered cabbage dish that involves potatoes, bacon, and some aromatic veggies that are like onions and garlic. It's a really soothing dish, and I find it to be extremely comforting after a long day, when you just want something that'll stick to your gut, or even just because you want to have some cabbage. I think it's a really great dish in those moments.
This is a lot of bacon, and I am here for it. I also did a bacon episode. If you, like me, are a bacon fan, I'll leave a link to it in the description. It was a good idea to cut it whole, but then I didn't think about having to separate each little piece of bacon. This is my burden to bear now, my bacon burden. It's the final bacon.
It's not a super ubiquitous dish across the United States. It is most definitely a soul food dish based in the culture of Black Americans. There are other cabbage dishes across the African diaspora, but this one is of Black American creation. This is one that I learned from my family. I'm not even entirely certain at what ages this dish was first introduced to me. It's one of those dishes that you always have, that shows up every so often at a reunion, at your grandmother's house, in your bowl in front of you. And as a kid, you ask, what is this? And they tell you, it's cabbage, eat it.
I'm using my heart with all these measurements, and my heart is this little spoon. So I'm gonna taste the water when it's done to just make sure that it feels well-rounded. But I also don't know what I'm looking for. More seasoning.
But it's a wonderful dish. It's like a hug in a bowl, and it's one of those dishes that before you know it, you know how to make it, because it's so simple and also so similar to so many other dishes that you learn how to make growing up. And I feel that it's one of those dishes that everyone should give a try. It is so comforting, so soothing, and so delicious. So if you get a chance, definitely try it.
This cabbage stewed for a while, like 2 hours. So Leia and I had to entertain ourselves.
I'm going to have to text my therapist.
We have time to kill, so we're watching Veep. But it smells really good, so I feel like it's gonna taste really good. Wow. That is deep in so much flavor. The cabbage is so soft and nice. The cabbage definitely has spice to it. I don't think in general I think about cabbage dishes as being spicy, but I love the flavor contrast. So comforting. I'm definitely gonna be eating this for dinner with Rudget. I'll take a clip and I'm gonna see if I can convince him to be on camera because he never wants to be. We're eating it for dinner tonight. Rudget, do you like it?
I love it. It's great.
He was on camera! It was a long cook, but I'll tell you, honestly, a Scout's honor, it was worth it.
Hi Beryl, my name is Arianna. I live in Berlin, Germany. I grew up in the south of Germany, in Munich, to a Greek mother and a German father. The dish I want to talk about today is a Greek one. It's called the Revithosoupa. Revithosoupa is a traditional lemony chickpea soup rooted in the culinary traditions of Greece, where chickpeas have been a staple for centuries. The simplicity of this dish, it only uses a handful of ingredients, reflects the heart of the Greek cuisine.
Have you guys heard the saying that you burn more calories eating celery than you actually get from the celery itself? I've heard that, and Leigh and I were curious, so we talked to a food scientist about it, and the answer is no. It's not true. But I thought it was interesting. Anyway, that's my celery fact.
The star ingredient of the soup is the chickpea, known as revithi in Greek. Chickpeas are simmered with aromatics like onion, carrots, celery, garlic until tender.
Arianna's instructions say to heat a Greek amount of olive oil, which is just more than I would usually use, so... All right, couple glugs here. Like, this is where I would stop, but I'm gonna keep going. I'm channeling my inner yaya.
A finishing touch of lemon juice and fresh dill adds brightness, making the soup so fresh and vibrant. And it's also naturally vegan. I think most Greeks know this dish, since it has been enjoyed for generations, especially during fasting periods like Lent. Like most Greek dishes, the Revithosoupa reminds me of my Greek grandparents. I remember enjoying my grandma's cuisine almost daily after school while my parents were working full-time. My grandparents came to Germany in the 1960s as so-called guest workers, and like many others, Greeks, Italians, Turks, they helped rebuild Germany after World War II. And many of them never went back, like my grandparents.
So I'm supposed to now add flour with some of the cooking liquid to help thicken the soup. I've never done something like this before. I've always used cornstarch. So, you know, a new skill perhaps, a new lesson that I've been learning.
You can find versions of chickpea soup across the Mediterranean, from Spain to Morocco, and across Greece. There are also regional variations that bring unique touches to the dish. In some regions, for example, like the island Sifnos, tahini is added to enrich the soup with subtle nuttiness and a creamy texture.
This to me is a classic Greek dish where you just feel like you're cooking in your backyard. Simple ingredients, but they're gonna come together and taste really nice. I mean, the kitchen smells really good and lemony and like garlicky and oniony. And the soup looks really pretty. Even though it's 1,000,000 degrees outside, I'm still really excited to try it. Needs salt.
To me, this dish also symbolizes how immigrants contributed to improving Germany's culinary offerings. I hope you enjoy this wonderful dish. Kali Alexi.
I'm gonna be honest, I've let this soup come to room temperature because it is so hot outside, but I feel like this is the type of soup that will be good at room temperature because it's just a bunch of veggies. This is so nice. It is so refreshing, and it is good at room temperature, just saying. Adding the tahini made this very creamy, and I'm very into that. Yum. This is a very Greek recipe, having made a bunch of Greek recipes on the channel. When I think about Greek food, I think about simple, whole ingredients, and that is what this soup is to the letter. From the lemon to the chickpea flavor, the bitiness of the carrot and the celery, it's got like all these beautiful flavors of the garden that are coming together into this beautiful soup. This is very simple ingredients. Feels very Greek.
I was just about to say.
To just like, it's like you're cooking your garden.
Yeah.
Arianna's story about her grandparents coming to Germany from Greece is the story I think that we see again and again of immigrants bringing their food with them and how the culture shifts around those dishes. Like the Lebanese dish, this was very simple to make, which I loved. Putting a soup together can sometimes be a lengthy process, but this one was very quick, and I also think the longer it sits, the more the flavors will develop, so tomorrow this soup is gonna be better than it was today. But today it's really good. The chickpeas are definitely the star of this dish. You're getting them with every single bite, and the flavor of them is so delicate and balanced in the soup. It's a chickpea soup, for sure. A lemony chickpea soup, and it's beautiful.
My name's Julie, and I live in Seattle, Washington. But I was born in Beijing, and I moved to Texas when I was 5 years old. The dish I like to share today is a sweet potato and millet porridge, or Xiaomi Hongshu Zhou in Mandarin. It's a wholesome congee that I associate primarily with breakfast.
I have never heard of millet before. However, on the package it says, it is a small, round, yellow, ancient grain native to Africa and Asia with a mild, sweet, corn-like flavor.
Chinese millet has a sticky, almost savory quality, and I actually think that millet congee is wonderful on its own. but it's the addition of sweet potato that really takes it to the next level. That's because it turns a porridge, usually one note and blandly soft, into a study of contrasts. There's a visual contrast in the small yellow grains of the millet and the bright, large orange chunks of the sweet potato. The sweet potato highlights the savoriness of the millet, and the nutty millet brings out the creaminess of the sweet potato. But I have a distinct memory of visiting China again as a teenager and having this porridge again and being blown away by the complexity of the flavor.
Sometimes me hoarding foods is a good thing because these red dates were from a Hong Kong tea that I made, which I will leave a link to in the description, but now I also need them for this recipe.
I also wanted to present this dish as a way to showcase northern Chinese food, because much of Chinese food that's popular abroad are Cantonese, Sichuanese, Shanghainese. North China in particular has a cuisine that's focused on heartier, more cold-tolerant grains like wheat, millet, sorghum, even oats.
So this is a little soupier than I want it to be, so I'm just gonna boil it down for like 10 minutes. But that's the trick, you can just boil out the water and then it'll all be fine.
Sweet potato also entered China, likely via the Philippines in the 16th century, as a crop to combat famine because it was easy to propagate and nutritious, unlike rice. And so, like millet, sweet potato was viewed as an alternative, humble crop. So if you're looking for a new breakfast option that's full of whole grains, or if the gluey consistency of rice congee isn't really your thing, I hope you try this carby combination instead.
Sweet potato and millet congee, which looks really delicious and smells really nice. The brown sugar on top was definitely the way to go. Yum. Get some sweet potato. Hot, 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 hot. When I have sweet potatoes with brown sugar, it reminds me of the American dish of candied yams, except with this, it's taken on a different flavor palette because of the millet. And this is the first time I've ever had millet. I learned about a new food today. Gotta try one of these red dates in here because I haven't had a red date in a while. Oh, they got really soft. Red dates have a bit of a different flavor than typical dates. They have a different type of fruitiness to them. And that fruitiness is a little bit more savory in a way. And I like that because dates to me can be really sweet. And I love that these came from an old episode. I honestly feel like this is a beautiful breakfast to have, or if you're feeling under the weather, this would also be super comforting. I'm gonna have this for breakfast tomorrow. I saved it already, it's already in a Tupperware. It's the next day and I'm having this dish again. I did add just a little bit of mozzarella cheese and a little bit of yogurt to make it a little bit more savory. Having it savory is really good, but I did add a little bit more brown sugar to kind of even it out. It's really nice day too. I do think that when I originally took it out of the Instapot, there was too much water, but that's a really easy fix. You just boil some of the water out and it'll cook down. I feel like when you're not baking, there's always a fix for something, so I never get too intimidated when things don't turn out exactly as they should the first time around. I still feel a little defeated. Where'd the hole go? Ah! Okay, I don't know what happened. Shoot. I mean, sometimes I do. Leia knows. I just lied.
Such a lie. Hello everyone, my name is Janna. I live in the city of Breda in the south of the Netherlands. For traditional New Year's Eve snack I want to share with you all today are Appelbeignets, or as my mother would like to say, Appelbeignets. In English they're known as apple fritters. Appelbeignets are made with slices of apple dipped in a beer batter and fried until golden brown.
So I don't have an apple core, but I'm gonna use this core, which I use in my Palestinian carrot recipe. And it's kind of similar. I'm just gonna have to go around it in circles. I think this is gonna be easier than using a knife, but hindsight will be 20/20, so let's see.
This is super easy to make, and you can even change up some of the ingredients. Like if you don't have beer or you don't want to use it, you can use a fizzy drink of choice instead. Usually, if we didn't have beer, we would use 7-Up. I really like these because they're very juicy and sweet. It goes together great with a glass of champagne right around midnight.
Look at my cool bottle opener. Wow.
If you core the apple with an apple core, you're left with a round-shaped hole in the middle of your apple slice. You can put the back of a wooden spoon through it to fish them out of the beer batter. I always loved doing that as a kid. These fritters are not something every household makes.
Smells like a pub.
In fact, some don't even call them appelbeignets, but will know them as appelflappen. But in my opinion, those are two totally different things. Telling you all about this snack makes me realize I really need to teach my son this recipe so he can carry on the family tradition. My mom and I always used to make appelbeignets together. About 1 hour before midnight, he would disappear into the kitchen and make these delicious apple fritters. Mom never was much of a baker, but the one thing we could always count on were these fritters right before midnight. She would top them off with some powdered sugar, and they're absolutely best right out of the fryer, though you must be very careful not to burn your mouth. My favorite thing about New Year's is nibbling away on some great snacks with my family and watching fireworks. I think you should really give this snack a try, because it's super easy and doesn't require a whole lot of weird ingredients. I think most people will have everything at home already. And who doesn't like a fried snack? Gelukkig nieuwjaar allemaal!
I have my plate of apple donuts. They didn't rise the way I thought they would, and I realized that's because this recipe did not include baking soda. So if you want fluffier ones, you could put baking soda in these, but they look really cute. They taste really good. From frying them for so long, the apple inside is really soft. It reminds me of the pieces of apple that you get in a chunky applesauce. And the batter on the outside is sweet, but not too sweet. I am not tasting the Heineken beer at all, but there's a lightness to it. Even though it looks kind of crunchy, it's not crunchy in the way that you would think like that kind of crunchy. It's just got like a nice, soft, but slightly crunchy batter to it. I was surprised to find out that I did not own an apple corer. I feel like I own a lot of tools at this point in my cooking journey, and the fact that I didn't have an apple corer surprised me, but I was able to make it work. What a fun treat for ringing in 2025, an apple beignet. It's definitely hitting the spot. Yep. Let me know what you think, and if any of these dishes have struck your fancy, all of the recipes are on my website, beryl.nyc, and don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps support me and the channel. Until next week, I'm leaving you with 2 more episodes in our culinary universe, and I will see you then.